Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Drinks and Movies with your hosts, Bearded Comic Bro and John from John's Comics with Kids. Ladies and gentlemen, buckle up for Drinks and Movies.
Cheers, friends. It's been so long. It's been a hot minute since a Drinks and Movies show, but of course, we like to celebrate those incredible icons when they sadly are lost to cinema history. And so it's, of course, another exciting evening, Drinks and Movies. And that's me and this guy, the Bearded Comic Bro. What is going on, Greg?
Dude, it's always sad when we're doing Drinks and Movies now because it's always like we've lost an icon.
It's always an in memoriam show.
but there's so many it's a great way, I feel like, for us to celebrate legends that we've adored watching growing up, and I think it just is a cool way to kind of pay tribute to it. So it's like man, it also makes me go back and watch some really good movies,
right?
Something that I haven't ever seen before. So,
and of course, these two are high on that list of icons of cinema for certain. And we got a special friend joining us tonight, another one of my movie homies that I hang out with a bunch. We got Matt, Mr. Gretzky. What's going on, Matt?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Doing all right, man. It's a Saturday night. We're talking movies and maybe having a little something to drink. I'm actually curious if anybody's got a beverage. What are we drinking tonight, Greg?
I'm going a little rye tonight, a little bullet rye.
Nice.
So, yeah, we'll see how much this bottle is emptied out tonight.
Matt, you got any water? Got any soda? Got anything good there?
Gold Peak tea.
Oh, there you go.
Okay,
doing it up. My wife is making beer bread tonight, so I'm finishing the beer she was using for that. This is a fest beer from Bavarian style lager. Ooh. And I got a little bit of larceny here to finish it off if I get into some trouble. And water. Got to stay hydrated.
Oh yeah.
So just as so everybody's aware, we're talking Diane Keaton and we're talking Robert Redford this evening. I know I didn't really build the thumbnail right because I got all the Diane at the bottom there, but we'll get up to everybody here. We're gonna go decade by decade. We're gonna roll through and give you kind of an overview. Feel free to dive into the chat at any point if you've got something you want us to mention from that era that maybe we've glossed over, skipped over, or haven't spent enough time on. Because obviously these two icons have a ton of movies to discuss. We could spend all night on one decade with one person, but we're going to try to get through the entirety of all of it if possible in an hour and a half. So we'll see how we do. So if you gentlemen are ready, I'm going to start us with Robert Redford because Diane Keaton didn't make any movies in the 60s or earlier. Her first movie is 1970. So we're going to do Redford's movies from the 1960s. This includes his first movie was called Tall Story. Never heard of it. Then
I never heard of that.
He had a bunch of small films: War Hunt, Inside Daisy Clover, Situation Hopeless But Not Serious, The Property is Condemned, and The Chase. All of that takes us through 1966, and I've never seen any of those movies. Never even heard of them. But his first,
sounds familiar, but I've never seen it.
But his first big film was the Neil Simon screenplay based on his play for Barefoot in the Park with Jane Fonda. And that one I do remember seeing as a young guy. A typical Neil Simon New York rom-com kind of story. Does anybody have anything they want to throw in on that particular film? Have you seen it? Do you love it?
Yeah, that's one I have not seen.
Nobody. All right.
I've seen it, but it's been a while. But I remember, what was the scene where you had to walk up all those stairs?
Yeah.
To get to the apartment or something like that, and she's running around up there, and then I just remember him getting ticked at her or something, and then being out in the park barefoot or something.
He did. I think he ended up doing like 3 or 4 movies with Jane Fonda in his career. So this is just the first, because he also did one of his second to last movies with her as well. But the next one, 1967, is one of the ones he is most known for. We're talking Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, his first time partnering up with Paul Newman. This is George Roy Hill Western classic movie. So let's dive into this one a little bit. Greg, what are your thoughts on the Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid?
I mean, this is if not the first Robert Redford movie I remember seeing as a kid. It's one of 3, and I'll tell you the other ones as we go along. And it's a very eclectic. Which ones were my first Robert Redford? It's one of these 3. My mom was a big Western fan. If you've watched the show before, you know. So this was early on viewing. Also with like, you know, being a younger kid, sometimes there's a lot of movies where you're like, oh, we can't watch this. My parents were like, yeah, it was Western. Even if there's a lot of violence in it, they're like, it's fine. It's it's all good. But
it's
like,
not very. I will say it's not graphic.
Violence.
No, there is violence. There is some blood, and obviously the ending is, you know, ambiguous. Let's say,
right. And this is one that I revisited a while ago, but I hadn't for a long time, and I'd always remembered the ending, and like that is one of those where like, holy cow, like that's how they leave, you know, like you don't get that often in movies. So I think like there's always a kudos to that. But one of the things I did remember rewatching this when I did was just the chemistry between Paul Newman and Robert Redford, like that, and like you'll see that throughout this show with Diane Keaton, with Robert Redford, who they're paired with, and how they interact with their co-stars, their co-leads half the time. Man, like they really do a great job of that. And this was one of those first moments where I feel like you really get to see Robert Redford, you know, in that co-lead with Paul Newman, and how they just kind of shined and played off each other really well.
Absolutely. I totally agree. What about you, Matt? Any thoughts here on Butch Cassidy? Do you remember when you first saw it and your feelings about it?
I remember watching it with my dad. That's the thing. He was a big Western guy, you know, like Westerns, that kind of thing. He was like Clint Eastwood Westerns, those kind of things. He got me into watching that kind of stuff. So it was like, you know, watching that, and then you start realizing that, you know, you're like, oh, Robert Redford did a cowboy flick, you know, and you don't think about it, you know, but when you watch it, you know, years after it's been out, you know, and that kind of thing, you're like, oh, okay, you know, in the 80s, I probably seen it in the 80s, probably was the first time I saw it.
Sure. And it is something of a revisionist Western in the sense that it's not following the typical tropes of what you expect from a Western. There are some very odd sort of comedic beats all the way through it. The train explosion alone is just absolutely worth the time. Very funny sequence. You think you used enough dynamite there, Butch? So great. Of course, the knife fight scene is amazing. The jump into the river. In fact, most of people's favorite scenes happen at the beginning because the second half of the movie is pretty dark. It's pretty heavy. It's a pretty bleak look at the life of an outlaw. So very, very powerful kind of stuff.
And then it leaves you hanging. That's what gets me.
Yes. 100%. What is going on? Gary B is in the chat. What is going on, my friend? Happy Saturday night to you, sir. But yeah, great film, and I think a fun, more, I would say for the time, a beginning of sort of like that new era of Western, away from the John Wayne kind of stuff to a more 70s view of Westerns, like you're saying, something more Clint Eastwood like.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. And then after that, this is 1969. He had 2 other movies that I don't know. Tell Them Willie Boy Is Here and Downhill Racer. Anybody know those?
Downhill Racer. I can't remember that one, but I've heard of it.
So that takes us to 1970.
I never watched it.
That is the entirety of these 2 performers in the 60s. But obviously the 70s is when both of them kind of hit their heyday or their stride. Yeah. So a lot of films for both of them. We're going to jump over to Diane Keaton to do her films from the 70s, because after a couple of small films where she's kind of getting her start, 1972 was a big year for Diane Keaton because she had The Godfather and she had her first Woody Allen film, Play It Again, Sam. So she really began sort of a career connection with both Coppola and Woody Allen at this point. She would make 3 Godfather films with Coppola, and she would make, I think, 4 films with Woody Allen. So
that sounds, because you got that one, Annie Hall, Moon,
Manhattan.
Yeah.
Maybe there's another one I'm forgetting. I was hyped. Oh, Manhattan Murder Mystery. That's another one of his. There may be another one that I'm forgetting because there's a lot. I mean,
can't
obviously,
remember. Yeah, she done so many with him. Yeah.
Love and Death. Love and Death was a Woody Allen one. Sleeper was a Woody Allen one. So that puts us at 6 right there.
Oh, was he starring in all of them?
Well, I mean, she was always either the lead or like the second lead female character, you know, because Woody often was the lead in his own movie.
Yeah, that's what I figured he was.
But let's chat Godfather for a second and her the value that she brought, because we can do all 3 Godfathers all together if you want. I know Godfather 3 is in the 90s, but you know the other 2 are in the 70s, so I'm fine talking Godfather as one.
I say do it.
Do it as a one because
so Matt, what are your thoughts on not only this trilogy of films but her part in it? Because ultimately there's only a couple of female characters that are really prominently featured here. You've got Talia Shire as the sister. You've got Kate, I believe, is the character that Diane Keaton plays.
Kay, right?
Yeah.
Or Kay, sorry, Kay.
Yeah.
What are some of your thoughts on her part in this legacy?
Oh, I don't even remember much about her character. That's how unmemorable it was.
It's a bro fest for sure. Well, she represents.
I wouldn't say it was unmemorable.
No, I don't think so either. Because she represents everything that. She represents everything Michael is sacrificing and going to be unable to really appreciate and enjoy in his life because he chooses to take on this mantle that his father's leaving behind. So her role in the Godfather trilogy seems not only necessary for Michael's journey, but also like a good counterbalance to the philosophy that the Corleone family seems to be, you know, presenting on film here for us. She is an alternative to this, which is why she has to leave ultimately and just, you know, she can't stay.
Yeah, it's almost a look at who, you know, what Al Pacino has to give up, right?
100%
for family. And it talks about those sacrifices of, you know, the life maybe you want to have is what Diane Keaton represents, and the life like that you feel obligated to fulfill because of family obligation. And that's where I think that's where I would say she's very important to that role, because I think that allows you to look at Al Pacino then as that broken character, as that flawed character of that one who's like trying to figure out like which way, you know, what's more important. Is it, you know, your found family, your real family, and things like this. And so it adds a dichotomy to Godfather that I think is very crucial to his kind of, you know, storytelling.
Well, and you have him at the very first meeting when we see Michael for the very first time telling Kay that, you know, when she's shocked at what she's seeing at the wedding, he says, that's my family. It's not me, is what he tells her. And we don't necessarily know or can't necessarily tell that this is a lie. He's lying to himself, but that's what it ultimately gets to be revealed, is that Michael's wrong. This is him. This is him to his core. And when he makes that choice to leave her to go kill these 2 guys in that restaurant and flee to Italy, like he's making a choice to sacrifice that part of his life for the opportunity to, I suppose, get revenge. I mean, if you want to boil it down to revenge, I know he claims that it's not personal, that it's just business, but he's got a look in his eye when he does these things that, for me, proves the lie he's telling himself.
Yeah.
So then when we get to the third film, which is ultimately, in my opinion, the biggest drawback to the third film is that it's totally unnecessary. Like, you know where this is going at the end of the second film. You don't need the third film.
You don't.
But it's nice to see Diane in that film because she's got her kids that are stuck in this life, but she's out and she's gotten away. But, you know, ultimately her kids pay the price because of that relationship she had with Michael. And that's the hard part at the end, is that she pays a price even though she got away from it.
Right.
You know? Yeah. All right. Well, there's our Godfather talk. Do we want to talk any? I will say I have not seen a lot of these Woody Allen films outside of Annie Hall, which is in this 70s era. But I didn't know if we've got Sleeper, we've got Love and Death, and we've got Play It Again, Sam. All of them.
Annie Hall's the only one of those I've seen.
Okay, all of
Annie
those.
Hall's the only one I remember. I remember Play It Again, Sam, but it's been so long, you know.
Okay.
since I've seen
So,
it. So,
and she also did several movies with Elliot Gould during this era. She did Harry
Elliot
and Walter
Gould
Go to New York. Yeah, she did some movies with him as well. But let's jump to Annie Hall. Obviously, Best Picture winner, 1977, beating out Star Wars. This movie really was, I don't know, Woody Allen's big success, if you want to call it that.
Yeah, poor
but
Lucas.
it's a very interesting look at love and romance, but it's also very it breaks a lot of fourth walls, very meta, right? There's a lot of kind of meta things that he's doing here to kind of get into the psychology of the characters that we're seeing here. She was an interesting foil for Woody because he was very frenetic and she was very kind of straightforward. Any thoughts on Annie Hall and the chemistry between Woody and Diane?
I'll go. I mean, this is one of those. This is a movie that has always been on my list that I needed to see, and I had never saw. So I watched it this week, actually, for the first time, and I realized why it's on my list that I need to see, and I haven't seen for a long time because I really don't like Woody Allen movies. Well, no, sorry, let me say that. I really don't like Woody Allen as his character.
And his main characters are always basically iterations of him.
Yeah.
So
I like a lot of it. I like a lot of his movies.
Okay.
I would just rather someone other than Woody Allen. Because like
I don't blame you.
His character is very neurotic and annoying to me in this, and like not someone like that you cheer for. So like for me, like I cheer for Annie Hall in this movie. I'm like, yeah, go girl, go live your life. Like, get away from Woody, go to LA, go do what you need to do. He's holding you back.
Right.
But I think this is interesting because this is where you kind of see her. Again, I haven't seen all her movies, but it's a little more different of a role for her compared to stuff of like that you saw her in the Godfather movies, leading up to. Or that you see, later in the 90s of the, the motherly maternal role. She's kind of, like you said, straightforward, but she's also just kind of like free spirited, just kind of go with the flow, live your life, and I thought it was a really good role for her, like to see her kind of, because that was something I wasn't used to. So it's interesting because like, I'm seeing what probably people really saw her launch her career, and I'm watching it going, oh, this is different from what I really know her to be. So that just shows you the caliber of an actress that she was.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And coming off of things like Godfather 1 and 2, this is a very, a much lighter, more bubbly kind of character for sure.
Didn't she win something for this?
She won an Oscar for this.
Okay, I know it won Best Picture and Director. I don't remember.
It won a lot of awards. I think this is her only Oscar win.
Okay.
Woody didn't win for that. He was nominated.
Okay.
Not surprising.
Yeah. So she won Best Leading Role for Best Actress in this.
Okay.
It won Best Picture. He won Best Director, Woody did, and Best and then Best Screenplay, and then he was nominated and didn't win. So it was, and it had a lot more nominations, but Oscar-wise, it had 5 nominations and 4 won.
Yeah, and again, I'm noticing even other movies, like she did the next year, she had Woody Allen movies almost every year in the 70s. So there was a ton of movies with him.
And that's after watching Annie Hall. I was like, ooh, I should watch Manhattan or something. And
right.
But then as I was watching Annie Hall, I'm going, if this is her best one, I've seen it. I really don't want to watch Woody Allen again. So like,
because
Woody Allen did a disservice to her.
These are the era when Woody is acting.
He acts
in
the
his
same
movies.
in every movie, pretty much.
Yeah, and that's the hard part. And I will agree with you, Greg. My favorite Woody Allen movies, Midnight in Paris
was a great one,
and Bullets Over Broadway. He's not in him, and I think Cusack and
Owen Wilson does a great job.
Owen Wilson do a great job of
the Woody Allen character, but not at the level of frustrating annoyingness.
No, exactly. And so that's I think those films I enjoy a lot because of that, for that very reason. Although I haven't seen some of his darker films. I know he did one called Blue Jasmine with Cate Blanchett that I hear was really good. I saw Match Point, which was the like really dark tennis.
Was that Kate No, Kristen Dunst.
Kristen Dunst and Paul
Betty Bettany.
Bettany. Yeah, The Vision.
Yeah.
The Vision or Knight's Tale.
Yeah. So I know he's got some slightly out of pocket picks that are not as typical, quirky, neurotic romance kind of films. But in this era, you're getting a ton of his neurotic romance meta kind of commentary on men and women films. We got Ruben Guzman popping by. What's going on, Ruby G? We got Paul. What's going on, Paul? Good to see you. Paul. And we got chaos in the chat. There's a lot of chaos. I appreciate you, Chris. And that kind of finishes out the 70s with if we looking at for Mr. Goodbar, Interiors and Manhattan are both Woody Allen films that she finished out the 70s with. So I think that kind of gets us through her launch, I should say, like the beginning of her career. If we jump over to Redford in the 70s, he had 12 films. This was his busiest time in his career. So he was really hitting on all cylinders. If we go to 1972, I'm going to start off with Jeremiah Johnson and The Candidate as two of his bigger films in one year. Jeremiah Johnson, if you haven't seen it, is a great movie. It's a pseudo Western. It's more of a frontier survival kind of story. And he's great in it. It's that, of course, that meme that everybody's got, that gif where he's like nodding. He's got the big old beard. I've seen that meme like a million times, but it's a really slow paced kind of measured look at a guy who really wants to be alone. He likes isolation. He likes being by himself in nature, and he has to slowly realize the value of community and people that he's connecting with. And it's a very difficult place to try to survive this sort of edge of the frontier. It's a really good film. I was very impressed by it the first time I saw it, and I think I saw it more recently. It's Sidney Pollack film from 1972. I saw it probably 5 years ago again, and was just as impressed by it. Again, the pacing. It's a kind of long film, but a really, really quality performance from Redford, who has limited dialogue in the film. It's not a big, he's not giving speeches or anything like that. He's a guy who, again, likes his quiet and his solitude. Anybody else seen it? Am I the only
haven't. That what you're describing reminds me of the one he did more recently of where he was on the boat. Yeah. Where it's more of a, kind of him by himself kind of retrospective movie. So that makes me want to watch that one now. Jeremiah.
Oh yeah, gotta watch that. Yeah, I haven't seen that.
All Is Lost.
Yeah,
that's the one in the boat. Yeah. J.C. Chandor was the director in that one. Yeah. So again, if you like I guess I hesitate to call it a Western, but it does take place in the American West, the frontier days. Not as like intense as The Revenant, which is a similar kind of film, but I thought it really, really kind of sweet and poignant film about, being on your own, being that idea of needing company, but also wanting to do things all by yourself. What's up, Lasso? Good to see you, my friend.
Hey.
Anybody seen The Candidate, which I have not seen, but I heard was really great. A political satire film that he made in 1972 as well.
Have you seen it, Matt?
Not much. Not much of it. I've seen bits and pieces, but not a whole movie of it.
Okay.
I need to go back and watch it, but yeah, I've been trying to collect all his movies.
Sure. Greg, so you haven't seen that one, Greg?
This is one that was on my list. But it was because I hadn't seen it, but I think it was not free on stream.
And movies about politics are a tough sell for me. I really got to be in the right mindset for it. So yeah. Well, let's jump to 1973. He's got two mega films in his career. We've got The Sting, his second movie where he partnered with Newman,
and was on my top 50.
And The Way We Were with Barbara Streisand, his first like really mega romance film. And I know one that he looked back on and didn't have as much fondness for as his fans did. But let's start with The Sting, the other half of the Butch Cassidy and Sundance duo. This is probably my favorite of his films. I love The Sting. I think it's funny, it's fast paced, it's clever. You don't see the twists coming. The music is great. The supporting cast is wonderful. I really love what's his name from the Jaws villain?
Shaw.
Yeah, Robert Shaw, so great as the
Yeah.
baddie. Lonergan. I love this movie. I'm assuming you guys have both seen it
Yeah.
and love it as well.
Oh,
Matt,
yeah,
you said it was in your
love it,
top
yeah.
50, so tell me why.
This is my top 50. I mean, I put it in there because it was probably one of the best movies I've seen in ever. My dad got me into watching that. So he's like, yeah, watch this. We've sat down and watched it one day on TV, and every time it comes on, I seem to watch it. It just draws me to it. And that just the way he plays his character, and then the other guys, and it's like when his buddy, what was the black guy, whoever his buddy was that died.
That's James Earl Jones's brother.
Yeah,
His older
yeah,
brother.
yeah. When he ended up getting killed and had to go find help, and then goes and gets who was that?
Paul
Elaine
Newman.
Bergman. Elaine
Oh,
Bergman.
sorry. Yeah. I thought you meant Paul Newman's character. Yeah.
Yeah. He runs into her, and then she has to take him to Paul Newman.
Yep.
To talk to him about trying to pull this thing off, and it's just how they end up screwing the guy, and then all that, and then and everything else.
There's just lots of really great twists, whether it's how they trick the cops or how they trick. Ultimately, like Redford and Newman are playing each other at different points, and then you don't get to see the moment when they align their cause a little bit. And then of course the big sting on all the audience where we get tricked at the end as like, oh yeah, how is this going to play out? Like the sting has a real strong finish that it has several twists that I don't know people catch as easily.
Yeah,
I'm a sucker for those types of movies too, right? Like, because they either work or they don't. Like, it sounds bad to say, but like con movies, like those twists, like you either nail it or you're like you have those moments of like Ocean's 11 where this, or the Italian Jobs or whatever you want, where the twist,
bank job.
But like but then you also have stuff like where Ocean's 12, where you're like, oh, there's no possible way you could even know the twist because they show you stuff that never even happened in the movie. So like this is, and I think this again works, and I think that these con movies work really well when you have the chemistry of Robert Redford, Paul Newman, right? Brad Pitt, George Clooney, Mark Wahlberg, with Charlie, like those kind of like where you have that chemistry of, the play off each other for the con, and where you're invested and you're kind of like, I don't know what to believe because they can sell it so good to you too, as in, like you're okay,
right?
And I think both of them can play that in a way you're like, do I wait? What do I? What's going on?
It's better than when you try to sequelize the movie. That's what gets me. When you try to take an iconic movie like that and you try to replicate it and you're trying to do it and you're like, okay, you don't have the same two guys in it that did it the first time that made it work. You go to do something different, and then it's like you lost the audience. That's why nobody knew they had a sequel to The Sting.
Yeah, oh God, you can't do a sequel and not include the big two guys. Like that's just you're gonna trash your own idea right there.
Flop.
So the next film, I forgot to mention that we've already had one, but ultimately I think he makes 6 movies with Sidney Pollack, the filmmaker Sidney Pollack. His first one was called The Property is Condemned, but his second one was Jeremiah Johnson, and then his third one is The Way We Were with Barbara Streisand. He ends up doing also, let's see, 1, 2,
Sneakers was
3,
Sidney, right?
4. He does 4 more. Sneakers was actually Phil Alden Robinson, the guy that did Field of Dreams.
Okay.
But I think Pollack produced it. He was probably maybe busy or whatever.
But he wasn't the one with the President's Men or something.
No.
What's that, Pollack?
No. All the President's Men was Pacula. But anybody a fan of The Way We Were? I've seen it. It is a pretty, sappy romance about a right-wing guy and a left-wing woman and the relationship not really working, and then they don't get together in the end. He plays a very kind of a right-wing character. And at the time, I think, politics getting in the way of relationships, it kind of was the discussion point of the film. Anybody see it? Anybody like it?
No, I didn't see it, but I haven't seen a whole lot with Barbara Streisand in a movie. So
I think it was a movie that kind of was like playing on the fact that he was a leading man and women really loved him. So I think it worked on that level, but I think it's
yeah,
very dated for sure.
okay. So it doesn't translate today.
I didn't love it. I didn't love it.
Okay, so if I watch it today, it's gonna be more 70s than anything.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Oh, okay, hold on, wait. We're gonna pause here for a second. My first chance to lose a comic community award is happening right now. Let's see. Can John pull out? It's good that No Good's in the chat. They might give us the omnibus
They better
award.
give you the
Omni?
Omnibus Award
Good.
if
Then
it's-
No Good can hop on and win
Yeah.
it for you guys,
Right.
and discuss. So, award-winning show.
Nope, I did not win. I absolutely lost. And the guy that won was already backstage. I don't know how that's possible. Is this rigged? Is the guy already backstage? Who knows?
Yeah.
But next up on Redford's list, we have a movie that I struggle with because I don't like the book, The Great Gatsby. I get frustrated with this book because the characters are so entitled. I don't the very substance of the book is so shallow and vain. I struggle with it. Anybody a big Gatsby fan? You like the story? You like the book? You like the film?
I know one of my buddies is a big Gatsby guy because he's been drawing a bunch of stuff. But me, I tried to watch it. I don't know, maybe 6 months ago or something.
Sure.
And it was just something that, like, and even the new one, like the new versions of it.
With
I
Leo.
tried to sit down and tried to like, okay. And I go back to Redford's version was better than the newer versions, but it still just didn't translate to me a whole lot. 'Cause I never read the book, so I don't remember reading the book. If I did read the book, it was probably
they're fairly faithful films, both of them, to the novel. It's not like they're taking big departures from the story. But the problem for me is that the vapid nature of the whole society of characters. It's hard to really feel or sympathize with their plights when they're just sobbing into their golden goblets and their fancy cars.
To me, like it was just like, okay, the woman coming over to his house, and then this woman. It's like I was like lost half the time through the movie. It made me lost. I was like, okay, I'll sit here and watch it, but it's just,
Yeah.
Right.
Again, I'm with you on that. Although I did pick up this AWA Gatsby book recently by Jeremy Holt.
Yeah, that's a classic cover. I think that's the original novel has a similar cover.
So, but this is like a modern day interpretation of it. Like it's like cell phones, Instagram. So
interesting. I'd be curious how that goes.
Yeah,
I thought the Gatsby was brought into a graphic novel or something.
I think that's what he was holding up there.
That was an AWA one that Jeremy Holt did, who I'm a fan of their work. So I always liked a lot of AWA stuff. So I'm excited to check it out. It was one that was going to be like single issues, and I think then it got pushed to just a graphic novel, and so
right, that works.
I'll get there.
Next up is a thriller that he did that I just saw for the first time. I'd say like 6 years ago. 3 Days of the Condor. It's kind of a spy espionage story. He works in a CIA house, like a data retrieval house in New York. He goes out for lunch and he comes back and the entire office is dead. Everybody's been murdered. He's the main suspect. And so now he's on the run trying to like solve the whodunit, like what's going on here. But he knows that he's going to be definitely in a lot of danger. And this is his third film with Sidney Pollack now. Any fans of 3 Days of the Condor? I think it holds up. I think it's still a tense, taut thriller as long as you're able to put your mind in like the pre-tech days of espionage.
Oh, yeah.
Were you gonna say something, Matt? Sorry.
No. Go ahead.
I mean, I watched. This is one that I watched recently, as in like 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And until you said the synopsis, I almost was like, I haven't seen this one. And I was like, nope, I did. I watched this one. It works. It works. And then sometimes it doesn't work for me, right?
Okay.
There's some parts where it just doesn't. Like with him, I think it's Faye Dunaway, who he's in the apartment with, like that he kind of like confiscates the apartment to like try when he's hiding out from the government tech people and things, and like he like falls asleep with a gun pointed at her while they're on bed. I'm like, if he's asleep, she can literally just get up and leave.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
like
The,
there's
the,
moments
the
like,
romance part is odd.
it's a
for
little
sure.
weird. It was a little
Yeah.
like disjointed, and like for watching some of the other ones with the chemistry that he had with his
Yeah.
co-leads and stuff. I think like if they would have just kept it as a spy thriller and allowed him to kind of play in that, like, who do I trust? What's
Right.
going on? Allow that, and not to try and have this forced, what feels like forced romantic relationship. It would
Sure.
have worked a lot better for me.
Okay. Matt, have you seen 3 Days of the Condor? Do you remember it at all?
I can't remember if I have.
No worries.
Until you said something about it, it just sounded vaguely familiar. But then I'm like, I may
No, you're
have,
good.
but you know how it is. I've seen something, then I'm like,
You're
and then
good.
after I start watching it, I'm like, yeah, I've seen that.
Don't worry about it. We got a lot to cover, so you don't need to worry about it
There's
at
a
all.
lot of movies I've seen like
so-
bits and pieces of, and never the whole
No,
movie.
don't worry about it. We got a lot to get through, so don't worry about it. He's got one last big hit in the 70s, of course, All the President's Men with Dustin Hoffman. We mentioned it a little bit earlier.
Yeah, it was a good movie.
This is the Nixon tapes scandal, the Watergate scandal. He plays Bob Woodward. Alan Pakula is the director. I've seen this film a couple of times. It's a good one of those classic, like, journalists trying to get to the truth stories, a la Spotlight.
Yeah, this is very much Spotlight-esque, and
but again, to Greg's point earlier, this is really built on chemistry between Hoffman and Redford, and I think the two of them really carry this, because a lot of it is just them on phones, quick juggling different conversations and then trying to dig a little deeper into the truth.
Yeah, and a great movie for Hoffman.
Yeah, what did you think of it, Matt? Yeah,
it was pretty good. I mean, it basically took Hoffman's career off, doing that, and then Redford, being already being a star, and being in it and doing what he did. It works.
Sure. Greg, have you seen this one?
Movie,
yeah. This is one I saw a while ago, but like, and when I wanted to rewatch it when the news dropped about Robert passing away, and so I ended up buying this one because I was like, I'm gonna own it. Like, so I own it digitally now. Because I gravitate towards those. Like, we've talked about what up, Gore? Movies a lot where, like, sometimes like political movies don't work for us. But I think you and I are both like all about like the journalist movies. We're like, yes,
for
like,
sure.
Give me Spotlight, give me All the President's Men.
Yeah.
And kind of to see what I like about this one is it's a different day and age, because I recently watched Spotlight like a month before this. So like there's really because actually there's a comic book writer who I interviewed named Dwayne Murray, has a hilarious comic book, Who Are the Power Pals?
Okay.
He plays Rachel McAdams' husband, so he's only in it like brief scenes, but he plays her husband in the movie. So like I was like, I'm gonna rewatch this before I interview him again, just like. But it is interesting to see how the difference in the eras of technology these reporters and journalists use to break down these stories and stuff, and and how they got the information they did, and the chemistry that Hoffman has, and the on-screen presence too, like, because like you say on phones, and half the time it's just the one side of the conversation. It's not a split screen.
No.
And so you get like Robert Redford or Hoffman doing their interaction, and like you'll see like the other one listening in like, what? No, I didn't say it. Like, and it just is such good play off each other that you don't need the other side of the conversation.
No, and it doesn't feel like a speech. It feels very natural. Like you can imagine there's somebody on the other end of the line. That none of it feels staged. It feels so authentic. The way they cut each other off, or the way they talk over each other. The dialogue is very fluid.
Yeah. And the chemistry, I like it early on in that too, like how Hoffman and Robert Redford's characters realize like that they really do need each other. Like Robert's, watching like the scene where he's watching Hoffman just take his paper that he writes at the beginning and like starts to retype it. And he just like, Robert is like, all right, I'm gonna type something else up and see what you do, and just slowly like that chemistry, like that build, like that felt genuine, and then the realization is like, oh, we do need each other to work, and I think that chemistry elevates this movie 100%.
100%. 100%. Yeah, totally agree. Gore is mentioning some films we've talked about, of course, Jeremiah Johnson as well, and then All the President's Men. This was his busiest time. He made more movies, in fact, in the 70s than he did in the 80s and 90s combined. He was really working.
But in the 80s and 90s is also when then Redford started directing,
and started Sundance.
Yeah.
So he was a very busy guy at that time. But even if you added the movies he directed in, it's still, I think, either at or just under the amount he made in the 70s.
Well, yeah, but I wonder of like the level of caliber of what it takes to go from directing a movie versus acting in a movie,
for sure,
and vice versa, and stuff like that.
For sure. Yeah. Let's see here. Then the only other ones in the 70s are The Electric Horseman, which I've never seen, another Jane Fonda film.
I never heard of that.
With Sidney Pollack directing him again. But then I just wanted to mention a movie that I think has come up a few times on this show because the cast is so wild, For the Bridge Too Far. If you like a good war film, this is a war epic, a World War II epic, and it has to do with the mission to capture bridges across Europe when the invasion was happening, and all the different troops, all the Allied troops that had to work together to capture all these bridges. And so the cast is bonkers for this movie. Everybody has their 15 minutes or their 10 minutes in the movie. It's a who's who of famous actors from the late 70s, and of course, one of them being Robert Redford. I don't think we need to spend too much time on it because it's not like his performance is iconic or anything like that. It's just another great performance in a movie that's kind of fun to watch if you're a war movie buff or World War II buff. Worth checking out if you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Gore says he likes the film The Day of the Jackal. It's based on actual events where everyone knows the outcome. All the President's Men doesn't lose any tension or suspense, despite that. Which again, Apollo 13 is the same kind of way. You know that they're going to survive, but you find yourself tense the whole time.
Oh yeah,
right?
You're invested in it.
Well, we're gonna stop there and jump back to Diane Keaton, and we're at the 80s now. We're officially in the 80s,
and this is where you and Matt carry the show, because my 80s knowledge of Diane Keaton, I did not watch it. I don't think I've seen any of Diane Keaton from the 80s.
I will say I'm only really connected to one of these films. The rest of the films I don't know all that well. I've seen the first one I was going to mention was the one that was nominated for a ton of Oscars. It's called Reds. This is a movie that's got Jack Nicholson. Of course, it's mainly a Warren Beatty joint. He is the main writer, director, actor of the film.
That's when she got in. Wasn't that when she met Warren Beatty?
Yeah, and I saw that a long time ago, and I really don't remember it well. But it is one of those sweeping war epics of the time, and I know that it did a ton for Warren Beatty's career at the time. But I really don't remember it at all. I don't know if anybody's a fan. I know it was a big hit for her at the time.
Yeah, I don't remember that.
Okay.
No, again, I'm not joking. I'm looking at the 80s list.
No,
I have not seen
that's 1980.
That is 1980 on the button. Yeah.
Yeah, I would have been 2 when that came out. So
or 81. Sorry, 81. My bad.
Okay, I'd be 3.
Oh, so you should have been 3. You should have seen that. You have no excuse.
That makes all
2. 2, you had an excuse, but 3, you have no excuse.
I know.
But the rest of these, I don't know. I don't know Shoot the Moon. I don't know Crimes of the Heart with Jessica Lange and Sissy Spacek from that's a Sam Shepard film, and I believe it's based on his play. I don't know that one, but I do know we had mentioned at the beginning her comedy Baby Boom, written by Nancy Meyers, one of Nancy Meyers' first films, one of her first big hits. Before later, the movie right here underneath me is another Nancy Meyers joint. But Baby Boom, very, classic sort of 80s comedy. The businesswoman who has to take care of a kid all of a sudden due to tragedy in their family. And how does she juggle life with a baby and career? Can we have it all kind of a movie? Do you remember it, Mac? Because this is one of my first memories of Diane Keaton. It was this, and then later we'll talk about Father of the Bride, but those were the earliest connections for me with her as a performer.
Which is great, but
So do you remember at all that one?
Yeah,
Baby
Baby Boom was probably the easiest one to remember because when it comes on, you just watch that iconic beginning part of the
Right.
movie and start watching it going through, and you're like, okay. Then you
Sure.
realize, all right, now I know. I'm like, oh, I know that movie. And then it's like, is that what I think it is? And then it pops up the name, and you're like, yep, that's
Yep.
Baby Boom.
Yeah.
It's just so iconic in the beginning, and then the rest
Yeah.
of it's just like her just taking care of the kid and everything else. And I'm just like, man,
Well,
that
the
is like
tone the tone reminds me of like a Mr. Mom or a Working Girl as far as those late 80s, female-led comedies where you kind of had like the gender role discussion going on, right?
yeah.
And so if you're a fan of Mr. Mom or Working Girl, you might enjoy Baby Boom if you haven't seen it. And she's the lead. She's got all the weight of the whole film is on her shoulders, and she does a great job carrying it.
Yeah, she does good for what.
And again, she's got those comedy chops. We saw it with Woody Allen, and we're going to see it again a little later.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much it. I know there was a movie called Radio Days. Well, that's another Woody Allen film.
I got that somewhere around here. I need to watch it, but I don't know.
Okay.
It's
So a lot of these
Tree
I've
movie. You can find it at
never
Dollar Tree.
seen. So they're question marks for me. But that's her in the 80s is a lot of she was trying out a lot of different things, and so she also directed a documentary called Heaven. About beliefs concerning the afterlife. And so she was the writer, director, producer of it.
I need to find that just to see what it's about. Yeah. Sounds interesting.
Yeah. Okay, that takes us to the 90s. Let's jump back over to Redford again. This is when Redford
we got to get to Redford.
Jump back to the 80s with Redford.
I was going to say, if you try and skip one of my favorite Robert Redford
my
movies,
but this is when Redford started to direct films, like Greg mentioned. He directed 2 films in the 80s, including in 1980. His first directorial film was Ordinary People, and of course, he won picture and director for it. Yeah. It was the same year he had a movie called Brew. He had a film called Brubaker that same year, which I've never seen. So I just wanted to talk about Ordinary People. I don't know if anybody's seen Ordinary People, but I loved it as a kid. When I first saw it, I was like, wow, this movie's intense, it's powerful, great performances from everybody. Donald Sutherland, Mary Tyler Moore.
Whoever plays the boy in that movie, the young son, Sutherland's son, and Mary Tyler Moore.
Sorry. I should know the name of this guy.
Great job.
Timothy Hutton.
Yeah. Because he won, I think he won an Oscar for that performance.
Did he? Okay. I know it won a ton of Oscars. It definitely won a bunch.
Winner, it won Best Picture winner. He won. Yeah, Timothy Hutton won Best Supporting Actor.
And then Mary Tyler Moore won Best Actress.
No, she got nominated. She didn't win.
Wait, it won 5 awards, it says. In addition, the film won 5 awards. Drama, director, actress, and supporting actor.
Well, IMDb said it was just a nominee and that they won Best Picture.
Let's check it out.
Supporting. It was nominated.
Oh, they blew it up. Really poorly written on here on Wikipedia. But yeah,
and then it was Best Winner, Director, and Best Writing.
Oh, and Judd Hirsch was nominated as well.
Yeah, he was nominated and she was nominated.
He didn't win.
Yeah, tough luck.
Yeah,
I know.
Can't win them all.
Taxi Man.
So, Greg, any thoughts on Ordinary People?
Oh, I love this movie of the dynamics of family dealing with tragedy, right?
Right.
Of how do you deal with grief and how do you deal with, the Timothy Hutton, the brother,
survivor's guilt.
Yeah, like dealing with the survivor's guilt and like, did I do, and then what he's going through with his suicidal, thought his process
friend,
and things like that.
And his friend that commits, that takes her life in the story.
And, then to understand, like, I feel like mental health has always been an important topic in our day and age, but like, I feel like in the 80s, it is not at that level, 81, right? Or in the 1980 when this is, that it is nowadays, right? Where it's so common to have like talking about getting help and getting those, those things that you need, and that dynamic of, the boy and his relationship with this therapist and Judd Hirsch, and
for sure,
is fantastic. And the importance of of talking it out and figuring out, you know, the root of things. And like you have your Donald Sutherland character in that midst, and with Mary Tyler Moore and their chemistry or lack of chemistry of dealing. And like it's such a multi-layered relational movie. Like I feel like people could be like, I don't like it, it's boring. But like if you care about characters and like real life relationships and pulling back of what it means to, you know, the son's being mad at him for not being who he needs to be, and the dad just kind of is going through like trying to be the people pleaser of the group. And that chemistry, like how Robert Redford directs each and every single person there for his first time directing.
Insane.
It's nailed it. He crushed it, and it deserved it. And kudos to him. I mean, he set a tough bar to then to hit. For your first one, but
and I know Gore. This is definitely a contentious subject here, because I know Scorsese fans feel like he was robbed for Raging Bull. I'm not as big a Scorsese fan, so for me, it doesn't. That argument doesn't hold a lot of weight for me. But I'm more impressed by what he was able to get from somebody like Mary Tyler Moore, who's known for comedy and has to play this incredibly cold person who has lost arguably the love of her life, was her oldest son. Kid, that was who she, more than her husband, more than her other son. She's dealing with the fact that she's in damage control, and she can't connect to the other son, and she can't connect to her husband about it. So she's just trying to escape. You know?
And her husband trying to like play that middleman of like trying to love his wife and trying to connect of like he's your son, and like her of like you're always defending him. Like it's heartbreaking beautifully. Like you know, it's one of those like it's tough to watch, but because it's so well done.
Yeah, for sure. And then of course a few years later he's got the sports film I know you're excited to talk about, The Natural, here a little bit, but I'm gonna let Matt go first. Matt, do you have any thoughts here on Robert Redford's The Natural?
The Natural, that was a great for a sports movie. That was probably one of the best sports movies outside of a Costner movie, I would say, or Slapshot. I'd say that would probably be.
Now you're giving Paul Newman his props too. Okay.
my number one would be Slapshot, but then Natural comes in there like number two.
Sure.
For a good movie, but that movie was just like, you know, the whole thing of him being the pitcher and then getting shot and then turning around and you know and then becoming a hitter down the road, and all because of the lightning strike. He makes the bat out of the tree that gets hit by lightning, and then the whole thing of them trying to pay him off, trying to buy off the team. And
I mean, it's pulling in a lot of like not only like sports iconography, but a lot of like sports history, whether it's the Black Sox and things like that, right? They're pulling in a lot of like Babe Ruth and things like this. They're pulling a lot of history as well as this kind of like, there's a fairy tale fantasy side.
And then you have Walter Brimley in there, you know,
Wilford Brimley, as the coach,
the manager, Then you had then the iconic ending when he hits the ball and it hits the lights, shatters the lights.
I'm curious about your thoughts, because I've heard people say that he dies at the end, and that the little bit we see is kind of a fantasy of heaven where the ball comes down and his son is catching it with him. Do you feel like he doesn't die, or do you feel like he dies?
I feel like I believe he did, but I don't know if anybody else.
Because I've watched it a few times, and it doesn't just tell you, right? It definitely leaves it to your
interpretation.
Feeling.
But I think
so
he
just
died.
Curious.
I think he died.
Greg, I know you're an optimist at heart, right?
Yeah. As a kid, I always thought he died.
Okay. Because it has a Shane-like ending.
Yeah. And because of the gunshot wound, like, you know, like there's, but I think as an optimist, like watching it, I'm like, I don't know. But like that scene, like that Matt talked about, like it's one of the most iconic sports scenes of all time, of lightning, him
Yeah.
hitting the lights of the baseball field, and
Right.
everything's sharp, and he's running, and you're just like, you just get in the feels, and it's with
Sure.
Wonder Boy the bat, like
Yeah.
that relationship
sure.
with the kid, like it's
Yeah.
so special. And I think that's what makes, you know, sports movies, sports are the catalyst for the movie, but a good sports movie isn't about sports. It's about the heart behind the movie.
Yeah.
And I think this is like, there's very little in Field of Dreams. It's about the heart. There's very, like there's more sports in this, but like it's about the heart of the film. And I think that's why it
for
works.
sure.
And where like stuff of like John Goodman's Babe doesn't work as well, right? Like there's not that level.
Yeah.
And I think again, it is kudos to Robert Redford and what he brings to the table. It's one of my favorite. Like I said, I couldn't tell you which one I saw first. This is one of the three. It was either Butch Cassidy, The Natural, or we're still waiting on one more that might be the first Robert Redford I ever saw.
Okay. I'm trying to remember. I mean, I know it might have been The Sting. I'm trying to remember. I know my dad was a big Sting fan, so I probably saw The Sting first.
Yeah, it's
more than likely.
Butcher the Sting probably is what I see first.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, Natural is a great movie. Absolutely love it, and can watch it at any point and just dive right in. It's a great movie. Next up is one of his movies that won Best Picture. This is Out of Africa, another Sidney Pollack joint. I remember seeing this movie once back in the 90s, but I don't remember it hardly at all.
I can't
Meryl
remember
Streep.
much of it.
Yeah. Does anybody a big fan of Out of Africa want to like get into the details of the weeds?
I've seen it, but it's nothing that I could sit there and say I would want to go back and rewatch it.
This is on my list to see, but
okay.
It's just an unmemorable type of movie that I just like. If it was something I would want to go back, I may own it for whatever reason. I don't know why, but it may just be something you pick up at the Goodwill or something for cheap,
right.
Maybe $1 or something.
Okay. His last non-directorial film in the 80s was a sort of legal comedy thriller by Ivan Reitman called Legal Eagles. Deborah Winger and Daryl Hannah being the other two in that. And I've never seen that movie. I've never seen it, but I know it was something of a hit at the time.
Legal. What the heck?
All right, moving on.
I can't remember if I.
He also. I'm going to cut you off, Matt. And we're not going to talk about how we haven't seen movies. We're going to just keep going. We got too many movies. We're already at an hour, and we're not even to the 90s. Yeah. He directed a movie called The Milagro Beanfield War. Anybody? We're going to roll right through that one.
No, I don't remember that one.
All right, we've hit the 90s. We've found it. We've arrived at the 90s.
Didn't we miss one? Didn't we miss one of his?
In the 80s?
I thought it was 80s. The one
Brubaker, unless you want to talk Brubaker, that's the only one we didn't mention.
Yep.
The one where he was the airplane pilot.
Airplane pilot.
The Great Waldo Pepper.
Oh, yeah, that did happen in the 70s. 1975. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I've seen that. I own it, but yeah.
You like that one?
It was pretty good. I mean, it was basically him being a stunt guy for movies and that,
Okay.
So pretty much that's it.
Entertaining. I know it's George Roy Hill, the guy that did his two Paul Newman films.
Yeah, I thought about it. I was thinking, oh, we missed one, but yeah. But now we're caught up. 90s.
Yeah. Yeah. So 90s, Diane Keaton, for me, it's all about Follow the Bride 1 and 2.
It's all about Nina Banks.
Great movies. I am a big Steve Martin fan. These are two. They're so charming. These films are very funny, very well done, and she's great. She's a great counterpoint to the anxiety-ridden Steve Martin character. These are definitely my earliest memories, I think, of Diane Keaton on screen. It was Baby Boom, and it was these movies, and I thought she was just really funny. She had good timing with Martin. So yeah, Greg, I'll throw it over to you. Any thoughts on the Father of the Bride films?
love these. These were probably my first exposure to Diane Keaton as a kid.
Okay.
My parents loved Steve Martin, so I would have been like 10. I would have been
Okay.
like 6 the first one, 10 the second one. Definitely saw
Okay.
them in theaters with. And it's funny because like there are moments of films that stick with you. And
Sure.
and this is Steve Martin, so not Diane Keaton at all, but in that movie where he goes to the grocery store and is ripping up the hot dog buns and the hot dogs and like gets thrown in jail because he's under so much stress about this. But it was one of those like, good golly, how true is that? Like, it makes no sense. You get 8 hot dogs and 12 hot dog buns, and it was that way in the 90s. It still is that way. And like, you have to buy 3 packs of hot dogs to get to 2 packs of hot dog buns.
Yep.
And then you're like, why do you need this many? And so like that chemistry. And I what sticks with me though then is her balance. What she brings as an actress. I think if you don't have the chops, you can get lost when you're paired up with Steve Martin, when you're paired up with Woody Allen and Annie Hall, when you're paired up with Jack Nicholson, Nicholson later, and the Al Pacino and Godfather. Like, if you don't have the ability to bring it, you can be a forgotten character. And I think her role as the mother who's trying to like balance these father's overstress of the wedding, of dealing with this guy. And I had not watched this in a long time. I had very fond memories. 2 nights ago I made Stacy watch it with me, and man, this movie hits differently now as a dad of 2 girls. Like, I'm like, oh, I felt like Steve was a little neurotic when I watched it as a kid. Like, I don't like Steve, like you're a little like. And now as a dad, I'm like, man, I relate to Steve Martin on a whole nother level.
Yep. She's too young to get married.
You're gonna be like Steve one day.
I'm gonna be like that 100%. Like, why do we need need swans at our wedding? Why do we need this?
Right.
But it's one of those, like, a great movie about it's ultimately about the father-daughter relationship in the movie. And that's why you don't even see the wedding in this movie. It is all about it's all about that dynamic. And I think Diane Keaton then of being the mother, that kind of how she comes around and guides both those relationships through it, and man, she kills it in it.
Nice. Matt, any thoughts on these 2 movies, the Father of the Bride films?
Oh, they were just iconic, great. Same thing, Martin makes it, better, for anything,
And it's a remake of a Spencer Tracy Elizabeth Taylor film, which I have never seen. And now I know they remade it again with Andy Garcia for HBO not too long ago. So they've done 3 versions of the story.
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I think I've seen the first one, the original.
Okay.
I think I've seen that, and then the Martin ones, I saw those, but I've seen that.
Sure.
I think I saw that after I realized it was a remake, so I went back and watched it, and it was like, still Martin was better.
It's hard to beat those 2, I'll tell you.
I'm like Steve Martin, Diane Keaton, make a comedy team,
And Martin Short, like, you can't throw Martin Short out. He's so great.
And with Martin Short doing his little thing, I mean, it's just the best thing ever. His character is just like that goofy little thing, but that's Martin Short for you. He can take just some little character type thing and turn it into like steal the show,
He does,
totally. Oh, he does, as Franz and and the way he brings it, of like, it's one of those, you're like, I looked at my wife, I was like, do you know who that is? She goes, I wouldn't have put it together, but as soon as you asked me that, she goes, it's the other guy from Only Murder.
Yeah.
I was like,
yep, for sure.
So
she had a couple other hits in the 90s. Highest among them would be First Wives Club with Goldie Hawn and Bette Midler, about the women who get divorced and they sort of go about taking revenge on their husbands who've chosen newer, younger gals to be with. It's a very funny film, and obviously those 3 ladies together have great chemistry, and they're all very entertaining. I don't know if we got C Bizzle in the chat. What's going on, C Biz?
I wish they did more together.
Who?
Those three.
Those three
from
ladies,
First Wives Club. Yeah,
Bette
them are
Midler
Cindy
and
Moore, yeah.
Goldie Hawn, and yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, because they had
they
great.
play off each other very well. They give each other room to be funny for sure.
Well, and then this is one I revisited last night just because I was like, I hadn't seen it in a long time.
Nice.
The chemistry between them, like you get a lot of Diane Keaton in these movies that we talked about, the chemistry of her and her male lead, right?
Yeah.
And like this is where it's the females leads and they really get to shine. And
Sure.
they're such unique characters. And like the dynamic they have with like Goldie Hawn and Diane Keaton, and it's so good. And I agree with Matt, man. I wish they did more movies together because they have a great chemistry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm all for it for sure. The rest of the films she had in this era were hit or miss for me. I know she directed a movie called Unstrung Heroes, starring Andy McDowell and John Turturro. I've never seen that. I know she did Marvin's Room with Meryl Streep and Leonardo DiCaprio, one of his early movies from '96. And then in the chat, our buddy Gore Vidal mentioned The Only Thrill with Sam Shepard, which again, Sam Shepard was a playwright, and I know I think he directed The Only Thrill. Anybody have any thoughts, anything on any of those?
No.
Not of those. The only other one from the 90s I had watched was The Other Sister. So
I was going to let that one be the final for the 90s. Yeah. What any thoughts on Gary Marshall's Other Sister, which is the love story between Ribisi and Jennifer, was it Juliette Lewis?
Juliette Lewis. Yep.
Any thoughts there?
I just thought it was a great, I think that's a great movie. All, the subject matter that it deals with. If you haven't seen The Other Sister, I highly recommend it.
Gary Marshall's a good filmmaker for sure. He tends to make things.
Gary Marshall does good. It doesn't matter what he does.
All right, well let's hit some Redford '90s goodness here, because he only made a handful of films in the '90s, but they were a lot of really big bangers. And I know that the chat this morning was telling me make sure you talk about Sneakers. Iconic cast, 1992, Redford just crushing it. Greg, you seem ready to lock and load on this one.
Oh, this is number 3. This is one that it is, if not my first one, it's either Butch Cassidy, The Natural, or Sneakers. I mean, Robert Redford, Dan Aykroyd, Sidney, Poitier, David Strahan. Like, holy buckets, this cast is fantastic.
It's wild. This cast is wild.
I burned through this VHS all the freaking time as a kid. I think I originally gravitated towards this movie because of Dan Aykroyd, right? Being a Ghostbusters fan as a kid, and then recognizing Robert Redford from those other things, and just the whole dynamic of that team. It is that Ocean's 11 vibe, like of the chemistry of all the characters, and River Phoenix and that, and just how they play off each other so well.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you get a movie where you have all these big personalities and you can find a way to bring them in together and it works, this is one that I could rewatch all the time, anytime. You're like, you want to watch Sneakers? I'm like, yeah, duh. Yes.
I need to watch that.
Have you ever seen it, Matt? Have you ever seen Sneakers?
No, I've never seen that.
It's a fun like
it's just fun.
Yeah, it's a fun espionage kind of a film, but it's definitely got a comedic tone that I think is really kind of fun. And the amount of Oscar nominations in this cast is wild. Like you just go through and you're like, how did they get this guy to do that? Like, holy cow.
Well, it was Matt, wild. The movie poster, this is what it has. Robert Redford, Dan Aykroyd, Ben Kingsley, Mary McDonnell, River Phoenix, Sidney Poitier, and David Strahan. Or
Daniel Strathairn,
Strathairn, yeah. That's just on the poster.
That's just who's on the poster. Yeah, exactly.
And the amount of Oscar nominations and wins between that cast,
it's crazy.
Is insane.
Absolutely
I'm trying to see if I'm missing anyone in the.
Yeah,
I know Timothy Busfield is in it. He's a great actor from 30-something, West Wing,
Field of Dreams, and Donald Longoon. You would know from if you watch the Gotham TV show, he plays Harvey Bullock in that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I've seen that. Yeah.
Trying to help keep my comic people here on this channel.
You're good.
in the
Oh
movie.
yeah,
So.
and he was in that other movie, comic book.
Yes,
Comic book Owens.
he was James Robinson's movie he
Yeah.
directed.
Yeah.
He plays a comic book shop owner alongside
Yeah.
who's the other shop owner that's gonna drive me insane.
Oh, it was the guy that was wasn't it the no, that was the I was thinking of the kid from that 70s show. He was in it. The guy that went to
Yes,
jail.
the one who's in jail. We don't talk about him, but yes, he's in it.
Yeah, he was in it, but I can't remember who the shop owner was. The Michael Rappaport.
Yes, there it is.
Okay.
That's who it was.
So,
All right. Well, I mean, yeah, great movie. If you haven't seen Sneakers, highly recommend it.
Yeah,
Also,
see it.
in that same year, he directed A River Runs Through It, which is a
Oh, he
fantastic
directed
film.
that. Okay, I love that film.
and
Yeah, Brad
narrated
Pitt.
it, right?
Yeah, he narrated it. It was the first time he put himself in his own movie. Up to that point,
Yeah.
he's the voice of the main character as an old man, as an older man,
Yeah,
narrating the story. But great
Tom
film,
Skerritt.
beautifully shot, powerful, gorgeous film. Like the photography.
yeah.
is stunning.
Montana wasn't it Montana? They were in.
I think it was supposed to be
Montana.
Montana, but I don't know if they shot it in Montana. It might have been Canada, like they do sometimes.
Yeah, but it was like one of those movies. Was just like, you see Brad Pitt for the first time, really.
Mhm.
Outside of what was that movie he did?
Thelma and
Thelma
Louise. Yeah.
and a couple other things. But you
Yeah.
see him in that first time doing like that big time movie, and it's like you
Yeah.
think this is something that's like, and it was great because I had to buy it on DVD. I watched it a bunch of times. Tom Skerritt was great in it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And then people
It's
think, oh, it's just a fishing movie. That's all people think of it is.
I mean, it's a brothers, father, son kind of film, and I think
Yeah.
that it's just a beautiful capturing of a time and place for sure.
Mhm.
Greg, any thoughts on River Runs Through It? Have you even seen it?
I've seen it. It's very much what everything you've said.
Okay.
For the sake of time, I don't need to add to it.
He had a couple of.
We're still in the 90s.
I know. I'm trying to get us through.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
He also had in the 90s a big hit with Indecent Proposal and Up Close and Personal, sort of romance stories, if you want to call them that. Anybody want to say anything about Indecent Proposal?
Indecent Proposal was a great movie, but
no, I don't like that. I don't like the concept of the whole movie. I can't get behind it, Matt.
And I don't care for Up Close and Personal with Michelle Pfeiffer either. I think the romances are a little bit off for me. They don't quite work.
Is Up Close and Personal? Is that the news reporters?
Yeah.
That also, I don't think it holds up in this day and age. If you rewatch it with everything,
no,
not rewatchable. There we go.
And then he also had a movie that I really loved that he directed called Quiz Show. That I didn't want to skip over. I know it's one of a smaller film of his, but Ralph Fiennes is in that. It's the true story of the people on the game show that was rigged and the truth coming out about it being rigged. Ralph Fiennes gives just a phenomenal performance. It's a lesser film, I think, from his catalog for a lot of people that didn't see it for whatever reason, but I think it's powerful look at what drives a person to crave fame over being true to themselves. I think that there's some real poignant commentary happening, and that, of course, we live in the day and age of people just happily exploiting the truth for their own gain. So to see people up in arms about a game show giving answers to a contestant, I think it's a different time in history, I suppose.
Yeah. Again, it's a movie I remember for whatever reason watching it all the time as a kid.
Right.
It's not a kid movie like from that aspect, but looking at this though, Best Picture nominee, Best Supporting Actor, Best Director, and Best Writing all nominated. Didn't win, but like it's a solid movie. If you're gonna how do you come back from? How do you what do you top ordinary people? Like was a solid attempt. Of a great
and
movie.
River Runs Through It too. He'd had several really big films. And then he finishes the 90s directing and starring in the Horse Whisperer. Sorry, early Scarlett Johansson performance. Kristen Scott Thomas, is that her name? Kristen Scott Thomas, fresh off of The English Patient here as the female lead. Another movie about, mental health, about therapy. In this case, a young girl who was a bit traumatized by an injury, having to sort of find her way through it by working with animals. And I think it's a poignant film in some of that regards. I think it's a little maudlin, a little melodramatic, but the performances are all strong and the photography is all great. So I don't know if anybody wanted to say anything about that one.
No, I bypassed it. When it came out.
But you can't bypass that mustache in that movie.
No.
So good.
All right, well, that takes us out of the 90s for everybody. So we can go back to Diane Keaton in the 2000s. She did another comedy with a couple of awesome ladies. She did Hanging Up with Lisa Kudrow and was it Meg Ryan?
Yeah, Meg Ryan, yeah.
And let's see, that one I believe was a Nora Ephron picture. She directed it, but Diane directed it, but I think it was a Nora Ephron screenplay.
Nora wrote it.
Yeah,
and Diane directed it.
Which again, fun comedy, female-led comedy. If people haven't seen it, I enjoy that one. I remember seeing that one a few times.
Yeah, it was pretty good, but
and then the other one from early 2000s is the one right there next to Matt, which is Something's Gotta Give, which for me is a banger. Nancy Myers is the writer-director. Jack Nicholson got a great part in it. Keanu Reeves has a fun little cameo part in it.
Oh, who's the is it Amanda Peet? Is that
Amanda Peet plays her
the
daughter.
girl that Jack falls for in the beginning?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I can't remember the Coen brothers gal from Fargo. What's her name? Is her best friend.
Frances McDormand.
Frances McDormand plays her best friend. So a great
John
cast.
Favreau was in that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Great cast, lots of good comedy. And we joked comedy earlier. The idea that at that age she decides to go basically full naked in the movie is kind of a bold choice by her. Yeah. But again, a great comedy with lots of fun twists.
That also is like her personality as an actress, because I read an interview after that. I was curious of like why the decision to do that, the nude scene. And she's like, listen, she kind of was like, I'm 60 at that time. If that gets your rocks off, kind of like who like it didn't. I think at her stage, it wasn't lessening her as an actress. She's like, okay, she felt like more confident that she could do something like that in that moment. And I was like, man, that's kudos to you, Diane. Like,
do you?
But again, that's one that I'm happy to rewatch whenever I can catch it streaming somewhere and I'm looking for something to watch. It's one that I can get a lot of laughs out of. The chemistry again of all the different performers. Everybody brings something great. But in general, I like Nancy Meyers movies. Like as a rule, I think she tends to be really skilled at comedic timing in her movies, and I think it always is enjoyable to watch.
Oh yeah.
That's why John watches The Holiday every Christmas season.
Over Love Actually, yes.
Wow.
Love Actually is actually a good movie, but
it's so problematic.
It's so problematic, and it's every single character is flawed and problematic and not good.
Yeah.
But it is still the first Christmas movie that Stacey and I watch every single holiday season. Funny. We love it. We love it.
The Holiday with Jack Black.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
That was the first movie I think he did that was actually good, but
the rest of all the way.
That's a fight for another day, Matt.
The rest of the 2000s up to 2010, not a lot of movies that I would recommend people watch or that I really cared about. So for me, I'm fine dropping the curtain
it's sort
on
of
20,000.
I was looking at that and I saw like
we can go all the way to 2025 if we want to just do all the 2000s because they had smaller lists of movies.
Yeah,
why don't we finish up Diane Keaton then?
Yeah, let's do that because 2010.
Okay. You don't want to talk about Mama's Boy?
I don't, but I do want to talk about Morning Glory.
What about Look Who's Talking too, or Look Who's Talking Again, or whatever she was in?
Oh no! Come on.
No, I'm with you though on Morning Glory with Harrison Ford.
Morning Glory is a funny movie. Harrison Ford and her play journalists basically who would get paired together on a morning show, and then they're combative nature comes to a head, and you've got Rachel McAdams as the producer trying to make it all work. Small roles from Jeff Goldblum, Patrick Wilson, but it's got a funny vibe to it. Harrison gives a great kind of winning comedic
Goldblum was
performance.
in that one too.
Say it again.
Goldblum was in that one too.
He's got a small part. Yeah.
No.
Do you remember the other small part that he's in of the movie we talked about recently or this episode? It's a Diane Keaton movie.
Goldblum's got a small part in a Diane Keaton. Is he in Annie Hall?
He's in Annie Hall. He's a guest on the phone.
And so is it?
There's a scene
is it
where
Billy?
he's talking when he's at Paul Simon's house. He's talking on the phone for like 10 seconds, and that's it.
And isn't that?
And was
is Billy Crystal in that one as the mime waiter? Is that the one he's in?
Is
Billy
that
Crystal? He's got another one of those cameos too. It's funny,
but like
it may not be in that one.
Like that one's because that's a young Christopher Walken in Annie Hall. Like there's a bunch of
Oh yeah,
like
for sure.
We didn't even talk about the cast in that before they were like who they were.
Right.
Oh yeah.
No, for sure.
But yeah, Morning Glory is a good one if you have not seen it.
Okay. So for me, Morning Glory was the last great movie I felt like she made, or very, very fun movie. She's got a voice in Finding Dory, and you had mentioned, I didn't want to step all over you, Matt, but you mentioned that she does voice work in Look Who's Talking Now, the second film, because she's the little sister, right? Bruce Willis's little sister in that. So she did a little bit of voice work as an actress.
Yeah, Finding Dory. I don't remember watching that at all. So
it's a cute film, and I think she's the mom in that, right? Isn't she Dory's mom or somebody?
Yes, I think. Yes,
she plays Jenny. I don't know.
She plays Jenny, and I don't remember who Jenny is in the movie. So but it makes sense it'd be Dory's mom,
right? But that takes us all the way to the end. So I don't know if anybody else wanted to hit on any movies from hers that we missed before we jump back over.
I don't think like
Redford's 2000s.
Yeah, you had like Book Club 2, all those kind of crappy movies. Same thing. I think those were like, to me, movies like that struck me as like they were trying to bring back her with a bunch of women.
Yeah,
like she did before, and
Jane Fonda,
Fonda,
Candice
and
Bergen.
it struck to me as it just didn't.
Before we get off,
strike to me is watching the previews for it didn't strike me as something that would be like, okay, this is Diane Keaton, but why are you doing this type of movie when you've done it already? You know, you've done that type of movie before.
Before we get off of Diane Keaton, what's your guys' thoughts on Family Stone? Are you not fans of it? I know John, I saw like most of the characters are horrible characters.
Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I mean, it for what it's worth. I mean, it's worth something, but
I think it's a fun. I think it's fun. It's a fine, funny, dysfunctional Christmas family movie.
Yeah,
I mean, the cast is really strong.
It's so good.
There's a ton of great actors in it, and they're all the chemistry again.
Yeah, Coach, man.
Yep.
He makes it.
I'm a big Claire Danes fan. She's great in it.
Yeah. So okay, I just because that pops up every once in a while in the holidays.
Sure.
I'll watch that. So
sure.
It does pop up a lot. Yeah.
But I can't wait to get to more Robert Redford because it's so good.
Yeah, the 2000s, he had a lot of big movies in that time. Obviously, he directed The Legend of Bagger Vance right in the year 2000. I think it's not one of my favorites of his, but it is, interesting and entertaining enough. I just think it's a little inconsistent. The tone is a little bit off for me in that one. I don't love Will Smith's performance.
No, I didn't. I think that was about the time I started to realize Will Smith is better at not that kind of serious role. He's more of like the action guy.
That's a bold take because he had some great movies in the 2000s. Some points
tonight that are going to make another episode where I have to argue with you about Jack Black, argue with about Will Smith and his.
Yeah, you got to go watch The Pursuit of Happiness and then.
Because you say that and then not watch Pursuit of Happiness.
Pursuit of Happiness is great. And then what is the Serena Williams one that he made?
Wasn't that the one where he played his father?
He played the Williams dad. Yeah.
He played Venus Williams and Serena's.
He was great in that. Obviously, he won the Oscar and slapped Chris Rock, and everybody forgot about it. But that
movie, that
movie's great.
That movie, my wife and I saw a preview of it, and we said, I walked out of that. I said he's going to win an Oscar for it. I
so good.
never felt more confident, and I
Yep.
was right.
Yep.
Yeah, he can do
I
comedy.
like
good.
Legend of Bagger Vance. I think it's a slept on movie.
Okay.
I think it's an interesting concept, you know, the whole mystical back, you know, caddy and stuff.
Yeah.
Is it my favorite of it's not my favorite golf movie, so it's not my favorite sports movie, but
No.
like I probably put it up there closer to Tin Cup of like the same, like I
Yeah.
there's issues with both for me, but
Okay.
Not like
enjoyed it.
Caddyshack too.
No, that doesn't exist.
All right. Well, let's talk about 2001 because he had two really great films in 2001. He did Spy Game with Brad Pitt and Last Castle with an insane cast over there. Gandolfini, Mark Ruffalo, Delroy Lindo. Absolutely, both films very entertaining. Both films really hold up for me. Anybody want to talk Spy Game? Okay, where do we want to go? Which one? What do you want to do?
I'll let Spy Game for you and Matt. Last Castle.
Let's do it.
Oh, I love Last Castle. Like it has its flaws as a movie. But the whole dynamic, maybe I just like prison movies. Like I love Shawshank, like Last Castle, like so maybe I have a weird like but the whole dynamic of him being a disgraced general, like and being sentenced to this military prison and having to deal with the corrupt warden of James Gandolfini and how they kind of go about the rules of like he's somebody that carries that bravado that people respect because he was a general or whatever he was, whatever rank he was high up, and people followed and led, and this idea of he couldn't stand by and watch the corruption that was going on in this, and you know, to see like the moments of like there's this in the movie there. If you haven't seen it, the Last Castle is literally it's a jail for people who've been court-martialed basically or are in the military
prison. Yeah.
And it's in a very Shawshank looking prison, like old school brick. And James Gandolfini plays the warden, and Robert Redford is a highly decorated general who goes there, and he's trying to get this. And you mentioned Delroy, and like who's like a friend of Robert Redford's character, and is like trying to help him, and he's just like, but there's a scene in it where they're rebuilding this wall of the prison, and they're carrying stones, and they're doing it as a punishment, and then they like James Gandolfini, the warden, like has him, you know, bowl down the wall that they then have to rebuild. Like it's a symbolism of like what the struggle is, and like that he's there for his people and not for anything else. Like I love this movie. I rewatched it. It was one of the first movies I rewatched once he passed away because I was like, I've always gravitated towards this movie. I think it's a great film. And if you haven't seen it, you should watch it.
Matt, have you seen that one?
No, I haven't seen that one. I need to
watch it.
You should check it out.
And that's why I stopped, because I had a sense that Matt, you hadn't seen it, so I stopped. I don't want to give away the endings and stuff. I think The Last Castle is streaming somewhere, so you should be able to find it. If not, you can get it cheap. Watch it. You'll watch it and thank me later.
Okay.
Okay.
He also did that same year. The movie Spy Game by Tony Scott came out. I think is a very fun espionage thriller as well. He and Brad Pitt have great chemistry. I love the idea of the film being told with flashbacks all the way through, with him trying to manipulate everybody from an office where he has very little power and trying to catch up on what's actually happening with everybody. It's a good espionage movie, and Redford is the star top to bottom. As much as Brad Pitt is the handsome face on screen, Redford runs this film, and he's great in it. Matt, you've seen Spy Game?
Oh yeah, it's a real good one. I mean, he's for his age and everything to be doing that kind of type of movie. You'd think that you'd just be like, you know, I'm just gonna mail it in or whatever, but he doesn't. You know.
Yeah. Greg, any Spy Game thoughts?
I ranted about Last Castle. I liked Spy Game, but Last Castle was it for me in 21.
All right. I want to throw in one before we get to like 2010. There's one that I want to mention that I think it's overlooked from him. It's called An Unfinished Life by Lasse Hallström, great filmmaker. This is a story about a dad who loses his son kind of tragically, and then the son's fiance shows up on his doorstep, and he's got to take her in, and he's holding her responsible in some way for what happened to his son. But you get Redford, you get Morgan Freeman, and J-Lo plays the daughter who shows up.
Wow. What a cast.
It's really Redford at the top and then Freeman as his friend, but it's a powerful film, and some drama, some maybe some violence hidden around the edges of the story, but really about grieving and loss, and Redford's he's great. It's his wheelhouse, in my opinion.
Okay.
It seems like a Clint Eastwood movie without Clint Eastwood and with Redford in the same place.
Yeah,
in some ways, like
I need to watch it. I'm it's my list.
Yeah, Unfinished Life, worth the time.
Yeah, you did watch that. Yeah.
He directed another movie that he had a small part in called Lions for Lambs, Tom Cruise war drama film. I didn't care for it. I thought
it wasn't that good. It wasn't good.
Okay,
not my favorite.
So I should just bypass it.
Yeah, skip that one.
Okay.
In my opinion.
And again, like it's crazy because it's him, it's Meryl Streep, it's Tom Cruise, and it didn't work for me.
No,
and I don't think it worked for a lot of people. So
the next really
Tom
great
Cruise
one
don't work for me. So
good gosh, Matt, we gotta have some talks here, bro.
You gotta work through some stuff, buddy. Yeah. The next really good one is the one that Bearded mentioned early on, which is All Is Lost. It's the man lost at sea story, where it's mostly just Redford all by himself out on the boat. Excuse me. Directed by J.C. Chandor. It's got that kind of like man against nature kind of a story, but really strong film, and I think very entertaining. And again, if you like Redford, he is just owning the whole movie, as only he can.
Well, because he is the whole movie.
He is it. Yeah.
They're like
nobody else.
Nobody else. I went and looked at because I was like, is there flashbacks? IMDb, he is literally the only person in this movie. That's it.
Wow, what a way to direct.
So and his name in the movie is Our Man. So you don't even get his name. It's Our Man his name is Our Man.
What a name.
It is him. J.C. Chandor was the director and writer.
Yep.
Really good. If you haven't seen it, really good movie, worth watching. Again, for a one-person movie.
Yeah. It's
like
a play.
That's tough to do. And that's tough to pull off. And I think this is one that it flew under the radar, and it should have gotten a little bit more love.
For sure. And then of the remaining stuff, maybe there's some things people want to hit on. For me, it's about the MCU to kind of close out.
It's Pierce.
Oh yeah,
you got Winter Soldier, and then he's got a cameo in Endgame playing the same character. For me, he is phenomenal as the baddie, and he does a great job. So many wonderful little speeches, whether he's facing down Evans or Scarlett Johansson or Sam Jackson. He's got some great sequences in this film. Greg, I know you and I've talked Winter Soldier a few times, but anything you want to say specifically about Redford?
Man, Winter Soldier is one of the best MCU movies, and I think he again. I'm glad it's one of his last movies that he did other movies, but like that was probably his last best role.
For sure.
Showcase what he brought to a movie as an actor, right? It showcased it's a little bit different becoming the villain, and you don't know he's completely the villain, right? Early in the movie, but so you get a little bit of that, like how he can sell something like he did in stuff in The Sting, right? Like those early movies, and then his chemistry with these very louder, bigger personas of a Samuel L. Jackson and stuff,
right?
And what he brings to he's the government villain official that you're like, that's dangerous, and like he does it so well, and like it's like the conniving politician that you're like, ooh, this feels too real in my life, and like but he does it so well. And I think that's what you needed, especially in a movie like Winter Soldier that was all about Captain America trying to figure out, his place in this economy and society that we're in. So
for sure.
Nailed it. He killed it.
What's up, Callie? Good to see you, John. I heard you won a lot of awards tonight, John. I that's what I'm hearing. Or maybe you were just claiming them in the chat. I can't remember what it was. Matt, anything you want to say about Redford as the baddie in Winter Soldier?
Not much. I mean, he was good at being the bad guy. I mean, for being like something opposite of what he normally is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, you gotta give it to him, and at his advanced age to play that role. It's like I would say like Harrison Ford playing certain roles at his age now.
Yeah.
That Redford was playing at his age then.
Sure.
That it's like two guys that had story careers and now they're in MCU. Now people are like, oh, now I know who Robert Redford is. It's like before he had all these great movies, but you do an MCU movie and you're considered like now you're
it's
stardom.
The cycle of life a little bit. You gotta wax and wane. You can't always be on top, right?
Yeah. and then he goes to the little bitty part, but I mean it's just how his character ended,
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I want to throw one more out for people who have Rokus. On the Roku channel, you can watch for free a movie called The National Parks Adventure, and it's an IMAX documentary on the national parks in our country. It was part of the anniversary of the national parks, and the reason I bring it up is because my wife was working for the company when they made that movie, so she gets credit in the credits. But better than that, it's narrated by Robert Redford, and Charlie, Kate, and I are in it in the credits at the very end of the movie. You can see us because they show clips of people at the parks with their families, and there's a couple clips of me and the girls. So if you go on your Roku channel later today and you want to watch
called?
National Parks Adventure, narrated by Robert Redford, and I'll just say starring John, Kate, and Charlie. So worth it.
Man, you got in credits. I got in the documentary for the N64 quest. I was credited as one of the supporters.
You watch the credits at the end. Do a screen grab or snap a photo of you'll see me holding Charlie on my shoulder and she's looking at a bear in the woods.
National Parks what?
Adventure.
Oh, I see it now. Okay.
It's 2016 documentary. It's 40 minutes long. It's an IMAX documentary. They ran them in like science theaters and things like that. The Discovery Science Center.
I think
what did your wife is your wife credited in anything?
She's a production assistant, I think is what they can. She's the executive assistant, so for the directors and the producers. She was like running their company from the office side, office manager.
Yeah.
I don't know what the specific credit she ends up getting in the end. Spoiler, in the documentary, Kate knocks Charlie down singing Let It Go. No, it's not true. Go for it, John, but make sure you snap a photo at the credits at the end and send it to me on Instagram because I want to see somebody watching it because it's been a while.
I'm going to watch it. My wife is like, why are we watching this? I'm like, so we can see our favorite Jameson and see Charlie.
I will say it was on Netflix for a few years, and every once in a while, someone would send me a message because they watched the credits, and they'd be like, "John, is that you?" And I'd be like, "Hell yeah, you found us." We're only there for little snippets.
So
there's one of me holding Charlie, and then there's one of Kate and Charlie in front of I think the Sequoia National Park sign, like pointing at it, all goofy.
I mean, Cali Comics, we're about to wrap this up, so you can watch that instead of this anyways because we're
narrated by our discussion person tonight.
IMDb credits
for who?
Becky Jameson.
There it is. Okay, yeah. What is her official credit
title?
Production manager. There you go. So she organized all the travel for everybody.
Megan
the McGillivray family.
Yeah,
they were famous for surf documentaries in the 60s and 70s, and then they made the Academy Award winner Everest, where they rescued people during.
Feel that you do a show called Drinks and Movies, and you're not on IMDb, but
I'm not. No, and I'm an award-winning filmmaker, Greg. I don't know if you know this.
You didn't get no money for that movie.
No, I didn't get nothing. I got diddly. But occasionally people will send me
My
screen
cousin
grabs.
got money for being in a movie with Johnny Depp. But
My wife got paid for her work, but
well, I mean,
on
she's
the
the
off
production manager. It's in IMDb.
Yep. Is it under Becky
there
or
you
Rebecca?
go.
Did she get Becky, James? Okay, good. All right. All right, so there you go. A little something funny there at the end. Hey, thank you, Phil. I appreciate you, buddy. Yes, I actually made short films in college, and one of them won an award at the prestigious Delray Beach Film Festival. So I'm sure Phil voted for me there. Absolutely useless piece of information for everybody.
Well, can we see that movie?
Yeah, head on over to if you have the Roku channel, it's free. I hear it's free over there. It was on Netflix for a while. I know that if you live outside of the US, it's still on the Netflix channel, but in the US, it's not. So,
no on Netflix. That's what they do. Something good like that, they get rid of it.
I appreciate Matt and Greg spending a little time talking about these two iconic film stars and their movies.
Oh yeah, thanks for having us.
Sad to talk about people when they pass, but obviously these are massive stars that it would be sad to not to talk about their works at this moment. I'm gonna get us out of here because it's late. It's an hour and 40 minutes. I kept us close to an hour and a half though.
You did a good job. You did a good job.
You did a good job. Just those 2010s on up got us.
Yep. I mean, there was a lot of Redford hits in the 2000s. So I definitely wanted to hit on some of those for sure.
Oh, yes.
But thanks everybody for coming. I appreciate everybody hanging with us, hitting the like button, and we'll catch you all again soon. Peace.